At this time, I would like to welcome our board chair, Georgianne Lang.
I have been the board chair for the YWCA Genesee chapter for only a few months as well. Jamie and I started about the same time, so I'm a new face to a lot of you. And for those of you who have been in and around Batavia, I may be an old face. Don't say that out loud, please. It is my absolute pleasure today to introduce to you our keynote speaker. Some of you may have seen her on Channel 10 News. Her name is Deanna Dewberry, and I would like to welcome her right up right now, please.
Wow, what a joy it is to be with you today. I tell you what, it was so funny. I didn't know which side, the north or the south side, to park on. And of course, I chose the wrong side. I chose the south side, and I'm here with my 12-year-old, and they said, yeah, you got to get to the other side, but you can't go through there. Can't go through the casino, so here's what you need to do. So it is wonderful to be with you. And it is such an honor to serve as your keynote speaker when you're talking about inspirational women. I am so humbled to be viewed as an inspirational woman. But today I'd like to focus on what truly inspires me, and that's my faith and my family. The always inspiring Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Women are like tea bags. You never know what they're capable of until you put them in hot water." And really, that is the essence of being a strong woman, of being a woman of excellence, of being an inspirational woman. Today, I'd like to share where my strength comes from. I'm going to talk to you about triumph in tragedy, comfort in chaos, solace in sickness, God's might and majesty in my fragility. I'm a 4-time cancer survivor. But you certainly don't have to have had cancer to know what it is to be faced with challenges too big to conquer by yourself. When it seems there is no hope, God steps in and says, "Do you know whose you are? Not who you are. Do you know, Deanna, whose you are?" I was 21 the first time I got cancer. I was in college, started running a fever every day. A few weeks later, my lymph nodes were so swollen, they looked like a chain of golf balls down my neck. I was running a fever of 102 every day, and I went to my campus doctor, and she said to me, "Deanna, I don't know what this is, but I know it's life-threatening." So my sweet mother, forever my inspiration, came. She packed up my apartment. Y'all, you should have seen how fast she packed up that apartment. I mean, she was Speedy Gonzalez personified. It was something else. And she took me home to Lubbock, Texas. And as soon as my primary care physician saw me, he said, "We've got to put you in the hospital." But there was something that I didn't know at the time. I didn't know that my dad had been laid off 2 months before. I didn't know that my parents, being very, very meticulous, that's my mother, immediately she got another insurance policy and signed me up for that. But what my parents didn't know is that insurance policy had some really scary fine print. It said that we couldn't file anything on that policy for 90 days. And anything filed before that 90 days would be considered a pre-existing condition. So when I started having symptoms just a month after they took out that policy, everything my mother had filed had been rejected and called a pre-existing condition. So at this point, I was scared. I knew that whatever I had was killing me, but I also was equally sure that my parents would spend every dime they had trying to save my life. So, I was looking for a plan B. Those of you who know me, I'm always looking for a plan B. What's plan C? Okay, we need plan F? Okay. So, the morning we were supposed to check into the hospital, I asked my mom, I said, listen, Mom, surely there's a way around this insurance policy? Perhaps if we have a letter from the doctors saying that my symptoms did not appear before we took out the policy, and they had progressed very, very quickly, maybe. My mother stopped me. She said, Deanna, and she looked at me only like a mother can. You know when that eyebrow goes up, and you know your mama's serious. She said, Deanna, I've talked to God about this, and we are going. I didn't say anything else. I said, yes, ma'am. So the day we were checking into the hospital, my dad said that he had some things that he needed to take care of, and he would meet us at the hospital. And so we went, and we had all of these tests, test after test, because at this point they had no idea what I had. It looked like so many things that could be infectious. Test after test after test. By this time, it's early afternoon. My mother's ordered lunch for me, and my dad still isn't there. And boy, I tell you what, woo, my mother was angry. Dad finally calls, and she says, Henry, where have you been? You know we need your support up here. You know what this child has been. And my dad interrupted her. Now, my dad has always been hard of hearing, and so he speaks very loudly. So even though my mother was on the phone all the way across the room, there in my hospital bed, I could hear my dad. And he said, Mamie, hold on a minute. I got something to tell you. And she said, what? He said, I was called back to work today. The baby has health insurance. And that was God again, showing me whose I am. I looked to my mother through that whole journey because my mother came from a very long line of strong women. She was a child of tenant farmers. They were poor black families who didn't own the land that they farmed. So before they could in any way appreciate the profit from those crops, they first had to pay rent. And then there was the ever-present practice of paying African-American farmers less for their crops than they did white farmers. So in that environment, it was very, very difficult for any black family to get ahead. But it was in that environment that my grandparents sent all 4 of their black babies to college. All 4. And so my mother, with the benefit of a college education, was able then to provide so much more for me. What a blessing. My mother knew adversity. She had stared that monstrous face of adversity. She had stared at it her entire life. And there was very little that can make her turn back. Well, God continued to show me whose I was. Through that long cancer treatment, lots of chemo, weekly chemo. It was May 11th, and my doctor looked me in the face, and he said with awe, Deanna, I think you're in remission. You have to realize why he was in awe. I had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. My chance of survival was less than 10%. So when in less than a year we were able to achieve remission, my doctor could hardly believe what he was seeing. Again, God showing me whose I was. But 2 years later, I'd be diagnosed with leukemia, and I was devastated. I thought, I've beaten cancer. I can't believe we're here again. And I told my mom, I said, Mama, I am so mad at God. And she said, you know what? Why don't you tell him? He can take it. Me and God talked all night. And by the next morning, I said to myself, we're going to fight this thing. I love the words of healthcare activist and attorney Elizabeth Edwards. Eventually, breast cancer did rob her of her life, but it could never steal her spirit. And she wrote, she stood in the storm, and when the wind did not blow her way, she adjusted her sails. That is the essence of a woman of inspiration. It doesn't mean we don't get mad in the storm. It does not mean we don't cry in the storm. It doesn't mean we don't get frustrated in the storm. But eventually, we get up and we adjust the sail, right? We adjust the sail so we can continue to move forward. At 42, I would find a lump in my right breast. I knew it was breast cancer. Didn't have to be tested. I knew it was breast cancer. I called my doctor. She did a biopsy. It was confirmed breast cancer. And it was the most aggressive type of breast cancer, triple negative. A type of breast cancer that disproportionately attacks Black women. I would have a double mastectomy, months of chemotherapy, and I would again achieve remission. God showing me whose I am. But even though my breast had been removed, not even the most skilled surgeon in the world can remove every cell of breast tissue. And in 2017, I was right here in Rochester. I felt a lump growing on the left side where my left breast used to be. And I knew the cancer's back. I would have surgery, 2 years of treatment, chemo, radiation, immunotherapy, and I'm still here. I know whose I am, but I also know it is my responsibility to take care of this vessel that belongs to Him. I know it's my responsibility to exercise, walking at least 2 miles every morning. I know that it's not enough just to maintain my vegetarian diet, but also to make sure that each meal is packed with nutrients. I know that as a Black woman, I am 41% more likely to die of breast cancer. And for most types of cancer, Black people have the highest death rate of any racial or ethnic group in the United States. So I must do my part to take care of this vessel that God has spared 4 times. I have to eat right. I have to sleep 8 hours. I have to get screened. I have to walk in faith. God did not promise us days without pain, laughter without sorrow, sun without rain, but He did promise strength for the day, comfort for tears, and light for the way. When you know whose you are, there is no burden too big, no heartache too heavy, no sickness that separates us from His eternal love. Yeah. I know whose I am. I know my God is real, real good. And yes, I'm still here. Thanks so much for having me today.
Deanna, can you come back 1 more minute, please? calling forth Miss Deanna Dewberry. Please report to the front desk. We just wanted to say thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, your wisdom, and your words of just encouragement. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. These are good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, wow. Does everybody feel really inspired now? I think that was wonderful. I want to introduce somebody next to come on up and present our first award. Miss Susie Ott, would you please come on up?
Thank you, Deanna. That was wonderful, and I hope that everybody does take care of their vessel. Judy Fuller. She came in and gave me a little talking to. She's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "Well, Judy, you deserve it." So, Judy Fuller is very dedicated to the YWCA and has taken on the ownership of My Sister's Closet and has shown a lot of effort and energy to help that organization grow. Judy lights up whenever she is talking about how she helped someone to find the right outfit, whether it be for a job interview, a wedding, or for everyday life. She takes a lot of pride in My Sister's Closet and treats it like her own business. She is always trying to come up with different ideas on how to make the project bigger and better and reaching out to organizations and people. Some of her ideas were to have pop-up sales, and she has even traveled to Genesee Community College or Washington Towers with those sales. She's partnered with Maurice's to get donations for the items for My Sister's Closet. And then what doesn't sell, she does donate to be used elsewhere. If you have any ideas, I'm sure that Judy would love to hear them. I hear that My Sister's Closet will be expanding in the future. I learned that last week, to a bigger location at the YWCA. I already have a group that's ready to freshen up that space. Some of them might be in the room and they just don't know it yet. For those that don't know, the money that is raised for My Sister's Closet helps domestic violence program at the YWCA. Judy was an excellent mother, and it still is, and has raised two very successful daughters. Judy was a mom that was a second mother to her daughter's friends, and I happen to be lucky enough to be one of those special friends. Judy was someone that showed us that you didn't have to have a lot to be happy. She worked hard for everything that she had, and therefore her daughters did the same. She has raised daughters Sonia Gagne and Katie Sisson that have had a big impact on many women in the community. And Katie just told us a story, how she saved Jesus on Easter Day on a flight with her daughter. So, I mean, see, this woman is impacting a lot of people. Judy has helped many women in our own way and does it without thinking that she would deserve the recognition. I am so happy that the committee agreed to recognize Judy Fuller. She is a hidden gem that sparkles even without the spotlight, and today I am so happy that we're here to recognize her past and future efforts. We love you, GI Judy.
Judy, do you want to come up? Judy, you want to come up?
No.
She's going to do it.
We didn't do a trial run, so
That's
come on
good.
up, June. Here you go. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, we sure can.
You should be over here or on that side.
We're gonna do a little dance. Oh, hi, Judy.
Hi, Susie.
Oh, here's an award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for that, Susie. And like I said before, the check's in the mail. I'm sorry, Jamie. This is very tough. I do what I do at the Y because it's such deserving. It helps the community, and I don't do it alone. So it's hard for me to take credit for something that everybody helps with. The women from DV, I can't tell you how much you've helped me over the years. Eileen has helped me in the beginning go to the different places. It's a lot of legwork to go out there to the different colleges and the different communities to see if we could possibly bring in, do a pop-up sale where everything benefit, and they've been open doors for me. I go there twice a year to the college and once a year over to Washington Towers, and matter of fact, they just called me and said, last year you were here in May, it's May, are you coming over? So, I mean, it's very appreciative of that. Millie, who is not here, was a director when I first started, and she got me in to the closet. She hired me to come in and do to volunteer and to help me grow it outside of the closet, outside of the Y itself. Jamie has helped me a lot. Go to Maurice's and think outside the box. Where everything I do, my primary goal is to help the domestic violence people and to bring stuff in, to give them access to clothing that they might not have. And anybody who hasn't worked, comes in for a job interview, they get free clothes. So I help anybody who needs it. And that's why I do what I do, because people need stuff, and I'm happy to be there and help them. I think that's it. I've had enough.
Okay, moving forward, to make this a little bit smoother, when the person comes up to do the nomination, we're going to meet them right here. So just come around back, shake hands, they'll give you your award. Okay, so next up, I would like to introduce Cheryl Netter.
I'm going to start crying too, because I am just so honored and humbled to be a part of this celebration. And I want to say congratulations to all the ladies that have been an inspiration to all of us in this room. The one I want to present to, though, has been in my life for a lot of years. And first, I want to say that it's not only a great honor and privilege to stand with and present to Sue Gagne this award, but I consider this opportunity a blessing from God. The nomination was actually a joint nomination, though, together with a close friend of Sue's and mine, as well as someone whose life Sue has inspired. Beth Allen, hi. If you wanted to just stand up real quick if you can, or just wave and smile. Thanks, Beth. We did it together. So it's hard to express the gratitude I have to be able to call Sue a mentor, a model of integrity and compassion, as well as one of my closest friends and trusted confidants. She's spoken into my life words of encouragement, confidence, and the first word I put down was correction, but I changed it to direction. Okay, so there. I just thank God for the beautiful creation of Sue Gagne. I've watched the impact she has had on so many lives by her words, actions, and deeds, all of which she delivers as only Sue can, with her unique sense of humor, her empathy, and her grace. Sue, you are truly a gift from God to those who've come out today to celebrate you. Your family, your friends, your church family, co-workers, and anyone who meets the truly gracious, gifted, giving, and creative, faith-filled person you are. Again, it's a true God-given blessing to be able to present this Woman of Inspiration Award for 2024 to you. And I want to say, I want to be just like you when I grow up.
So I'm not crying, you are, right? Thank you, thank you. So, oh my gosh. So thank you so much for this award. I want to just thank the YWCA staff and board for considering me, and Cheryl and Beth, oh my gosh, and all my friends and family. And I really want to give a special shout out to my husband, Neil, also known as my arm candy. He has let me pursue, I shouldn't say let me, he has encouraged me to pursue all my wild and crazy dreams over the year. Like, he's been through it, so like, he's been through it. You're a good man, Neil, you're a good man. But I knew I had to come up with something inspirational to share with you today. And when I was pondering what to say, I thought of my Grandma Langen, who was an inspiration to me. But before I tell you about her, let me ask you all, are there any December birthdays here? Raise your hand. Hey. All right, so you guys will especially relate to this, okay? So my birthday is December 28th, okay? My whole life, I have been in competition with you-know-who, right? His birthday is December 25th, in case you didn't know. But my birthday is 3 days after Christmas, and that's when people are thinking of taking naps, they're getting ready for New Year's, they're taking back the presents you spent 8 hours trying to find the perfect one for. They're not thinking of celebrating me, right? But my Grandma Langen, she was such a blessing, and I don't know if it was because I was the first grandchild or, but she sure did know how to make me feel loved. So at Christmas time, usually Christmas Eve, the whole family would gather together in her living room out in Greece and would be stuffed in there. And at some point during the festivities, she would wave me over from the hustle and bustle into the entryway to her upstairs. And she would open the door, and on the stairs would be a wrapped package, not in Christmas paper, but in birthday paper. She went out of her way to let me know that I was special in the midst of all the busyness. So as my pastor says, I just have a couple thoughts for you today. The first thought, you need to know that you are special. And I'm taking a statistics class right now, so I need you to know this. I want to show off a little bit, but the odds of you being born, each one of you, is 1 in 400 trillion, okay? You are the result of one particular egg and one particular sperm. It's okay, I'm a nurse. Each sperm and egg is genetically unique because of the process of meiosis. A woman has 100,000 viable eggs on average. A man will produce about 12 trillion sperm over the course of his reproductive lifetime. So the probability of that one sperm with half your name on it and the egg with the other half of your name on it is 1 in 400 trillion, okay? So I'm here to tell you, each one of you is special and each one of you is unique. The second thought, right? The second thought, which is more of a question for you, is will you be that person who makes others feel special and loved like my grandma did for me? I follow John Maxwell, an author and speaker on various topics of leadership, quite a bit. And one of the things I gleaned from him over the years, from his teaching, was a daily habit he has. He says that he wakes up every morning, looks over his calendar, and starts thinking about who he will see that day and how he can add value to them. He's intentional about it. In the Bible, the book of Ephesians tells us that we are God's handiwork. And if we think about that, you might be the answer to somebody's prayer. Remember, you have a gift to give this world. You were born not by accident, not by chance, but you are 1 in... Great job, class. Great job. 400 trillion. The last thing I want to encourage you to do, especially if you struggle with knowing how special and unique you are, get around good people. My pastor continually tells us, the person you will be in 5 years depends on the books you read and the friends you keep. So get around people who will encourage you, value you, and help you grow. Get around some people who will do life with you. It makes a difference. Thank you again for this honor. It is so appreciated, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, I would like to introduce our next presenter. His name is Dan Ireland. He is the president and CEO of UMMC. Did I get your title right? Come on up, Dan.
Thank you, Georgianne. And good afternoon, everybody. It is really an honor to be here. I'm here today on behalf of Bill Fritz. Bill called or messaged me a little while back and said, hey, Susie's going to get a really cool award, and I'm wondering if you can stand in for me because I can't be there. And I was honored to be asked to be here to talk about the nomination that Bill put in for Susie. He does send us apologies that he can't be here, but I think he's someplace warmer. You know, just a little bit of history about Susie. She joined Lawley back in 2008, December-ish, with really no insurance experience. But then over the time and very quickly, she rose to become an account associate. And in 2013, Susie earned a Certificate Insurance Counselor designation, or CIC, which I think is big in that field. And following that, in 2017, she became the commercial and personal insurance team leader. And then most recently in 2022, she became the branch manager for the Batavia office of Lawley, managing 20 associates and handling all the large line of clients for Lawley. So that's pretty impressive in that period of time to continue to move up in such a quick way. Susie has a number of achievements as well, and I think as you listen to these achievements, envision how through that process, Susie's been able to touch and inspire people along the way. I personally have been lucky enough to be part of some of what Susie has accomplished and proud to see her grow. First of all, the Wings Over Batavia Air Show. Susie was a committee member, and she was dubbed Chaos Coordinator of the air show, which successfully helped bring back, after 25 years, our air show to our community, and she's doing it again this year. So thank you for that. She's been part of the United Memorial Medical Center Board of Directors, and she's also the chair of our quality committee. So the quality of healthcare in our community rests on Susie's shoulders. No worries, you're in great hands. So no, she's been part of that since 2018, but even prior to that, she was the president of the United Memorial Medical Center Foundation Board. So she's been giving back to the healthcare of our community and inspiring folks along the way to get better healthcare. Susie's also been a part of the United Way Day of Caring as a co-chair since May of 2008, over 15 years of being co-chair, and I'll talk in a minute a little bit about what she's accomplished in that time. She has been part of the Batavia Rotary Club since December 2004, and she is the president this last year and this year. So I dread the calls from her saying, Dan, pay your dues. Oh, no, sorry. She is also the treasurer, or was the treasurer of the Batavia Development Corporation from 2007 to 2017. She is a proud member of the Leadership Genesee class of 2004. This close to being the best class, but 2006 took it. So she's also received the Rotary Club Paul Harris Award twice, 2007 and 2022. The United Way Barbara Conable Award in 2017. She was our 2015 Genesean of the Year from the Chamber of Commerce. And she was the 2011 Leadership Genesee Outstanding Alumni. So how does it all translate into being a role model? So as Bill mentioned, he worked over 15 years, has worked over 15 years with Susie, watching her grow in an area that was predominantly dominated by men. And yet she quickly earned the trust, respect, and really the confidence of both her clients and her coworkers and teammates. And so they now have come along to depend on her to provide the best service possible, and customer service is secondary to none. As I said, she's become a leader in her office, 18 women and 3 men, And many of them really she's helped them grow in their occupations and help to be, grow up and go through the career chain. She makes many contributions to the community. As a member of the United Memorial Center Board, I've seen her really help bring the board along through our merger and help bring services into our community. Services that span the continuum, whether it's cancer care services, women's health, surgical, new buildings that we're putting up. Susie's been a staunch supporter of all of that and helping lead the board through those honor. I mentioned the United Day of Caring. This started in 2008, and it only had 7 projects when it started. And in 2014 and beyond, it's been 48 projects or more, growing volunteers from 70 at the beginning to over 400 in just that short period of time. So really, every single one of those projects help our community, whether helping another business or helping something that the community will benefit from. So it's really shows the investment she has in helping others. And as I mentioned, Rotary Club, she's been a very active member, and really Rotary provides scholarships for colleges and supporting students through BOCES, Batavia High School, Notre Dame. The other thing that Rotary does is Susie co-chairs the County Nursing Home Christmas Gift Program. This program's been in place for 100 years, and it's been providing gifts to residents at the nursing homes, the former one in Bethany and Batavia, and it just provides that little bit of light and sparkle to people, and Susie co-chairs that, makes that happen. So in the end, I was looking back and reflecting on the YWCA's mission and what it aims to drive for. And I see Susie and Bill saw it in his nomination, as being a good citizen, organizing people to help make a better, safer community for all around them. And, I've just outlined all the outward things that Susie does, but Susie does so many things behind the scenes, quietly, without any recognition, which is the way she wants it. She's just happy to help anyone around her and always says yes. Sorry, Mark, she always says yes, but she's always able to help. I think she's so deserving of this honor and recognition as she lives the mission of eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all every day. I'm thrilled to present to you on behalf of Bill Fritz, Susie Ott, one of our 2024 Women of Inspiration. Susie.
I've even had a trial run. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Don't read my speech again. We don't want to hear it again. So.
For those of you that know me, know that I'm not usually afraid to get up in front of people and speak. Today's a bit different. I want to thank the committee for selecting me to be one of the recipients of this award, and congratulations to Judy, Sue, and Sandy. I also want to recognize the other recipients that are in the room, because there's many of you that I've worked alongside of on either a committee or a board, and none of us do it for the recognition. A big thank you also goes to my boss and mentor, Bill Fritz, who took a chance on me 15 years ago. Lolly has been such a great organization to work for. We have grown to over 500 employees now, and yet we still have a commitment to our community and our values, and we live that every day. I just heard on Friday at a luncheon, Jim Vincent mentioned to Steve Hyde, who works for the GCDC, when he first started, he said, sometimes you just have to jump and learn how to fly. Well, I have done that the last 15 years. I encourage everybody in the room to take a chance and give a person an opportunity. Be a leader and a mentor. Your time and effort will pay off. I'm surrounded every day at Lolly by amazing people, and thank you for coming today. And by the way, last August, I really did jump out of a plane and literally flew for at least 45 seconds until the parachute opened. Thank you to my family for all of your support throughout the years. As a child, my mother was involved in the Brockport Lions Club and served on Lakeside Hospital's foundation, only for me to later serve on the United Memorial Medical Center Foundation and now on the hospital board. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I am my mother after all. And I know everyone's laughing that knows her. Setting the example for me helped to mold who I am today in my involvement in so many activities throughout the community. A huge thank you to my friends that are like family. Many of my best friends I have met through volunteering together. They are often asked to help with many fundraisers, including the Future for the Y. I have surrounded myself with people that really don't know how to say no either. Mark, thank you for being a part of the life of Susie for the past 11 years. We know it can be exhausting, and you have to recharge your social battery many times over the years. But I really do appreciate your support, love, and understanding that I have endless meetings. And even when the meeting ends, I still want to have a capper to recap the meeting. By the way, it's on the agenda today. We are usually one of the last to leave any event. Thank you to everybody in the room for being here today. You're here because you either have a connection with someone winning an award or you're supporting the YWCA and you chose to be here. Thank you to the staff of the YWCA for all that you do for the women that need someone to believe in them and support them. I saw this quote this morning and thought it would be worth sharing today. Your impact on other people is bigger than you think. Someone still giggles when they think of something funny that you said. Someone still smiles when they think of the compliment you gave them. Someone silently admires you. The advice you give has made a difference for people. So I encourage everyone to continue giving back to the community and have fun while doing so. If you're ever looking for ways to be involved, I have some ideas. And I'll leave you with a quote by Les Brown. It's, in every day, there are 1,440 minutes. That means you have 1,440 daily opportunities to make a positive impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susie. And last, I'd like to call up Mary Jacobs.
Everybody's a little taller than me. Okay. Thank you to the Y for giving me the opportunity to present this award. So a few of us came together to nominate Sandy. So we thought, what does it mean to inspire someone? To affect change in someone else through your own positive actions and influences, to bring about a hope and urge in others, to help those less fortunate, because it's the right thing to do. And I can think of no better person that truly defines that than Sandy Wojtaszczyk. Sandy began her employment at Genesee County Department of Social Services in 1998. She worked her way up to become a supervisor in 2009, and as a supervisor, she was charged with training new workers in her unit regarding child abuse and the safety of children in Genesee County. In 2013, Sandy received an award for her outstanding achievements in law enforcement through her work as a Child Protective Services supervisor. You can often find Sandy volunteering her time at the Salvation Army, Elbow Fire Department, assisting with the United Way Day of Caring, which we had a lot of fun raking leaves last year, or with her grandchildren at their various sporting events. Sandy was a graduate of Leadership Genesee in 2015 and received their Outstanding Alumnus Award in 2021. Sandy has collaborated with the YWCA, CASA, Juvenile Justice, Genesee County Family Courts, all the schools, and all the police agencies to work towards making sure the families are safe in this community. Sandy remains a well-respected member of this community, and throughout her time as a Genesee County employee, Sandy witnessed very serious cases of abuse with families. However, she never let that impact how she felt about the members that she served. Sandy is always going to be remembered for her professionalism, her uncanny sense of humor. If anybody has worked with Sandy for any length of time, you're going to know that she always can crack jokes. So she has taught us not only to be compassionate towards others, but care about who we work for. And that is why we nominated you. Gonna take the long way around. Why'd you hold the wrong? You went for. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh,
Thank you. All
right. Wow. I'm last. But not least, thank you everybody for coming. First of all, I want to thank Mary for nominating me and anybody else that was a part of that. What? Can you all hear me back there? Okay, well, I got a big mouth, so. All right. I want to also thank the YWCA. Let's give them a nice round of applause because, you know, this is a great event that they're putting on. Great event. I also want to congratulate Susie, Sue, and Judy. Sorry, Judy, yours is the only one that doesn't start with an S, but whatever. I've always volunteered, like that's always been a part of me. My parents always volunteered, and that just was a part of me. And I was looking through, I remember when I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, putting together a carnival for the Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Telethon, and I found my award. I was like, I didn't date anything because, you know, when you're little, you don't do that. And I found a newspaper, yellowed, cracking around. We raised $10.80. And you know, that was a lot of money. And I don't even know where we got gifts. We had it for the neighborhood kids. A bunch of us neighborhood kids put it together. So my volunteerism started. Does anybody remember? What? Oh. Sorry, I guess I'm not as loud as I thought. Okay, did you hear that we raised $10.80? Woohoo! Yes, that was, I mean, we thought we were just, you know, we did the best, and I helped out on the telephones. I think now it's all kind of gone to the Variety Club telethon. I don't think Jerry Lewis does his telethons anymore. I don't know, I'm really old. Some of you are probably looking at me going, what are you talking about? Anyways, the 4-H walkathons, do you guys remember those? Okay, you went 25 miles one year, and then you got a certificate. I thought I was going to die. There's a lot of miles for a little kid. Then you'd go 50 miles, and the next year you'd do 25, and you got a 50-mile patch. And I think I did it 3 years. I think I found 75 miles that I did in 3 years, and raised money. I just found the little certificates. I find a lot of things that you throw in a suitcase and don't know you had it. But I still volunteer now, and I love volunteering. You know, if you guys, any of you have the opportunities to volunteer, you really need to do that because it just gives you such a sense of giving. Like, I help out every other week at City Church to give out the food for the food giveaway. And people are so grateful. They're so happy that you're giving it to you. And that's why I do what I do. You know, Salvation Army at Christmas time, when you're giving a family that maybe somebody just lost a job and they have no money and you're giving them gifts for their kids, like it just feels so good. So I'm kind of throwing it out there. If you don't volunteer, at least try to volunteer. Like Susie said and everybody else, there's plenty of opportunities. This county is always looking for someone to volunteer. So that's my plug for volunteerism. So as you know, I don't know if you know, but I worked at social services, Mary said, for 25 years. I retired 2 months ago. Woo! If you haven't retired, please do. It's awesome. I can go yoga at 10 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon and I don't have to worry about working, right? So anyways, I worked there for 25 years. About 15 of those years were I was the supervisor of the Child Protective Unit. Most of that time, there was a few months in there that I was in the preventive unit toward the end of my career. I had 8 workers in the Child Protective Unit. We investigated child abuse and maltreatment, and we would get those reports through the hotline. So somebody would call the hotline, and then they would, you know, give us those reports, and we had to go and investigate them. People ask me all the time, how did you do what you did all that time? Like, that's so hard. I don't know. I just did it because I knew sometime, somewhere, I may have made a difference. We don't always know what difference we make, no matter where you volunteer or what you do in your job. We never know. You never know what impact you have on anybody. And you know, you get, in something like this, you get an award, and I'm like, why am I getting that? That's just me. That's what I do. But you know, you just never know when you're going to make a difference in someone's life. And I always hope that removing kids, I know everybody says that's terrible, that's terrible. It's not always terrible. And removing kids from a situation that's really, really bad, that is what kept me going. Knowing that I could have saved a child's life somewhere along the line. Will I ever know that? No. I worked with teenagers for a period of time prior to being a supervisor, and I still am in contact with some of those girls. They sometimes call me, they see me on the street, hey, Sandy, you know, how you doing? I mean, I still have Facebook friends, you know, we all have to have Facebook friends out there. But, you know, I mean, I look at that and I don't think that I have an impact, but I did have an impact on their lives. They were in foster care and they didn't have good role models, and hopefully that's what I was for them. As a supervisor, I really enjoyed my job. I felt like I had to be a mentor, a teacher, a role model. I even had to be a mom to some of my workers because, you know, I'm older and they're like 12. As you all know, as you get older, kids look younger. I'm like, how old are you? You're 20? What? I tried to instill in the workers that they should always be respectful. To me, being respectful is the key. And don't look down on people. We're going into houses and we're going into situations that are really bad, and you're like, I don't, you know, they did that to a child. Well, you don't know because it's an allegation. But you have to be respectful because you will get nothing if you are not respectful. And people know, they sense when you're looking down on them. They sense when you don't believe them. They sense a lot of things. So that was one of the things I really wanted them to do. And you don't know the story. You don't know the story of the person sitting next to you. You don't know the story of the person you work with. You don't know their history. You don't know their trauma. You have no idea. You're seeing what they want you to see. So to be understanding on that and to know that you don't know what's going on with them. And at any given time, I used to tell my workers, you could be sitting on the other side of that desk. You could be, something could have happened to you where now you're on the other side of the desk and someone's coming and questioning you. You want to be respected. So that was one of the things I really tried to do that. And telling them, don't take anything personally. Can't tell you how many people said, I don't like you. Well, I don't like your job. I like you, but I don't like what you represent. It's okay. Sometimes I don't like them either, but I can tell them that. Anyways, you have to have humor, and you can't take, like I said, you can't take it personally. Because once you start doing that, you're done. You start taking things personally, you're going to burn out so fast that, you know, your head's going to spin and you're not going to be able to do the job. I also thought it was very important to get to know my workers and to know where they came from. Because you don't know, again, what they're going through. You don't know if they've had trauma in their life. You don't know if they came to work in social services because they had to deal with their own situation that they had as a child. You don't know if their parents were alcoholics or drug users or if they got abused. You don't know that. So I wanted to get to know my workers so I could understand them. I had an open door policy. Come in my office anytime you want. You want to talk, shut that door, and you want to cry because something happened at home, here's some Kleenex, cry. So, you know, that way then too, if they got a report that I'm giving them that's going to hit home to them, it's something that they had happened to them as a child, how are they going to do a job? How are they going to be, you know, able to handle that? Some people can, but some people can't. So I wanted to get to know my workers and get to know that maybe I needed to give that report to someone else, or it's a relative or something. You don't want to do that either. Yeah. So for that, I mean, that's a thankless job, and I really want to thank all of my, I know there's some people here that I worked with, attorneys. There is, you know, just all the different kinds of people, the caseworkers, you know, the youth workers, anybody that we worked with, my colleagues, everybody, I want to thank them because they are the ones that have to go out there and do the work and the grunt work and the frontline work. They have to do that. So I want to give them all a round of applause. They actually made my job easy. And don't worry, I'm almost done. So people come and go in your life, and did you ever wonder why? Why do people come and go in your life? What impact have you guys had on someone? You probably don't even know the impact you've had on somebody, but maybe you do. But, you know, be kind. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. When you go out the door, well, maybe not here because somebody might, I don't know about here, but like, let's say you're at Walmart and you're going into Walmart and somebody's coming out and they're looking deep. Just give them a smile. Like you don't know what they're going through, and you don't know that maybe that smile is something that's going to make their day, and maybe they had something really bad happen and they're now, sad and they're depressed and you don't know. Give them a smile. It doesn't cost anything. Hold the door. When somebody's trying to reach the top shelf at Walmart, like me, because I'm short and I have to climb, go help them. Like, it doesn't cost anything to do any of that stuff. So, this is what I got on Facebook. Well, it's a quote. Be the reason that someone feels seen, loved, and valued. Be that person. Be that reason. And on closing, I would say that the people who inspire me are my family. My family inspires me every single day. And for that, I love you and thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandy, and to all the women. We are almost, what's that? Oh, you're Jerry Lewis Award. One last presenter, Samantha Richlicki. As Samantha's walking up here, she's going to present. We had a little fundraiser called Francis's Purse, where we asked the community to design different purses, and it was a fun competition, and the winning purse would get $500, and that purse will be used as a donation purse to go around the community. So Sam is going to introduce our winner.
Sounds good. Just curious. Hi, everybody. Remember me? I was up here while you guys were eating, being an inconvenience. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, like Jamie said, we did have this fundraiser go on. Francis G. Francis is the name of the founder of the YWCA of Genesee County. In 1909, Francis and several like-minded women of Batavia set forth to create an organization to support women that were in the community. They faced great resistance, as you would imagine, in 1909. I lost where I was. Once they got all together, basically built the YWCA on February 2nd of 1910. It was called the Batavia of YWCA then, which is cool. And yeah, her legacy lives on. We've been around for now 114 years, I think it is. So in honor of Francis and all of the women that left the agency in Genesee County, the YWCA, we held a purse designing competition where we had people send in purses that were going to go throughout the town, like different businesses, like you have the, the houses and donation jars like that. And we wanted to have a cool little competition with the schools. And we have our winner here. If you want to stand up, Lena, you can. This is Lena Boris. She's from Batavia High School. And here, I'll just show this off again. This is the bag that she designed, she brought in. It's absolutely gorgeous. And what was really special about it, too, is that she actually filled it with product like feminine hygiene products that women at our in our domestic violence place can use. And so, yeah, thank you, Lena. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. It's gonna go around. It's gonna go around Batavia. You'll see it. You'll know when it's hot pink and it's gorgeous. So, yeah, thank you so much, Lena. We appreciate it. Yeah, Lena, do you want to come up? I'm never in front of the camera. I'm always behind it. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Lena.
All right, thank you guys so much for coming. We have so many incredible agencies that are represented here, many of which we already work with, and if we don't, trust me, we will be calling you. We're all about partnering right now and making sure that the partners we have are making a better community for all of us.